Our culture has diminished character to a point where if you want to be successful in life, if you want to have a great business, if you want to have a great marriage, if you want to have a great anything, simply be humble and kind. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean you're passive. That doesn't mean you don't stand for truth. That doesn't mean that. But if you're humble and kind, you're going to have more people knocking on your door. You're going to have more people asking for your help. You're going to have more people wanting to walk with you and talk with you than if you're meaner than a snake every single day.
Right.
And I think in this culture, we see a lot of people get what they want in business, in whatever, because they're like, I'm going to get mine. Mm-hmm. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Cutthroat.
And yeah, you can get it that way. That's one way you can get it. But the Bible's very clear. The Lord maketh one rich and addeth no sorrow to it.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome to the Busy Brothers podcast, where we are trying to find balance in the busy. Shawn here, and actually today we have a very special guest who's not my brother, who is actually more fun, better looking, and just a greater all-around person, if I do say so myself. He is the man behind the camera, coming out from behind the camera to be in front of the camera to bring us what he has. It's our great friend, our Revive Church tech production team, the producer here, the father of three, homesteader, chicken tender. Give it up for Nate, the great G-Bo.
Hey everybody, how's everyone doing today? I hope when you listen to this, it's empowering to you. But it's great to be on this side of the camera. Not that I am looking for it. I have so much fun behind it. Just to do the little tiny things. Mm-hmm. It's hard for me to envision being on this side.
Yeah.
But every once in a while I'm back there, I try to throw the one-liners or the correction.
Yes, the correction. Because we have, English is not our first language, gibberish is. And that's why we're so good at speaking, because we talk to those who have gibberish on the brain. Mm-hmm. But no, definitely you're a very intelligent man. I will say that. Very, very, very smart, smarter than Derik and I. We just have the gifting. That's
stage presence.
Yeah, we have stage presence. That's what I was trying to get at. Yeah, we have that. But you have definitely the smarts behind what we do, and what you create is incredible. And if it wasn't for you, this wouldn't happen. So me and Derik, but especially me, is grateful for what you do, and we're just excited what God's going to do today. So you want to give us a little rundown of what you're thinking we're going to be talking about today?
Yeah. So. I don't know. I every once in a while, I think we all kind of have this ideas, or mine sometimes come across as like messages, sermons, if you will, but just like general messages of good in general. And I try to, if they're not already pointed towards the Bible, try to point them Bible
related.
Yeah. So this one, and sometimes it comes to me first as a title, and then you kind of fill in the gaps.
Yeah, that's
the story.
Yeah.
So this one was Hat of Many Colors. So kind of going off of Joseph's The Coat of Many Colors.
Yeah.
And sadly, like I took it as the Brandon Lake song where he talks about the different colors within it.
Yeah.
And I went and I asked, the smartest person in the world, Google.
Yeah.
Was it made of many colors? And it's like, there's nothing saying that it actually was. It just says it was a beautiful coat.
Yeah.
So it was like, well, but it said, depending on your translation, or what they translated back then from the Hebrew and the Greek and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful one, which regal or like a royal garment, which was meant that they weren't workers. It was someone that was high up there. That was not a manual labor type person. So it was a representation of
what his classification of what he did. Yeah. And that was throughout all the there's many different references of the Bible where especially when Jesus, I forget which one he healed, but he healed somebody and he threw off his cloak. Well, that cloak, what scholars believe and what people believe, is that cloak was actually given by the government to say, this man is a beggar, this man cannot work. So they gave him a coat so people would know as they're walking by, this guy's not just sitting down resting. This guy is a beggar because he simply cannot work. And in order for Jesus to heal him, he had to shed off that old identity and take on the new garment of praise and say, I'm not going to live like that anymore. Same for Joseph. Joseph was loved by his father, and his father knew he had a special call on his life. But the problem with Joseph is and this is off this, but I'll get back to that, is he pointed so much attention to Joseph that Joseph then was hated by his brothers. Now that may have led to all the things that he went to, but could the scenario been different if his father didn't favor him over the others? But irregardless, it made him different. It made him special. It made him have a different vocation than his brothers did, because his brothers were always in the field and he was always at home with mama in loving life, being the youngest. God bless the youngest.
Being praised for being there.
Listen, I'll tell you this. For every youngest out there, I got to tell you this. There's a reason your parents stop with you. When they see perfection, they just know it. Okay. They have to stop. So it is what it is. Like, I can't help it. I can't help it that I was blessed by God with being the youngest, but I am. So Aaron, Nate, Derik, if you hate it, sorry, deal with it. It is what it is.
What do you usually say? Don't hate me because you ain't me.
Don't hate me because you ain't me. And now you're the oldest, aren't you?
Yeah.
And you have a younger brother.
I'm the oldest of two. So I have a younger brother, 18 months younger than me, roughly. And I don't throw this out to everyone because it's not proven, nor is it relevant to most conversation. But apparently my mother had a doctor's appointment briefly after, like, the checkup or whatever, after I was born. And the way the doctor was talking and the information that he was giving was that I was supposed to be a twin. And my mother, I don't remember how many months in, she was not knocked over, not like attacked by a dog, but she was knocked over by a friend's dog or whatever. And she thinks that could have been the trauma that caused the separation, so to speak.
Yeah.
And we have little evidence. Like, my right pectoral muscle is undeveloped, absent, never there.
Yeah.
Still attached to the other side of me, the other twin, so to speak, or whatever. So we don't know. I mean, it's looks normal other than there's no muscle there.
Yeah.
So, but theoretically, I might have been one of three.
And the beautiful thing about that is, the beautiful thing about our faith is what we get to see when we step on the other side. Now, I don't want you to be there anytime soon. I don't want to be there anytime soon. But when we do, we're going to know so much more, like, just so many things that I think we're going to learn when we get on that side of eternity that are going to be, it's going to be fun.
And soon is relevant.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Like, soon for somebody is, 10 years. Soon for somebody else is 50 years.
Yeah.
Like, soon is such a vague description.
And I'm literally writing a sermon for when I go preach at Pastor Jeremy's church. And I'm relating it in Ephesians, where it talks about marriage between husband and wife, but I speak concerning Christ in the church. That's what the correlation that Apostle Paul was bringing. And the one thing that I notice with most men is, I'll get to that soon. Well, we resemble a lot like God. Soon to him, he said, I am coming soon. Well, this has been 2,000 years. Okay. So we got some grace to us. So when we say it's going to be soon, it's going to get done.
Right.
But soon is whenever soon is. So,
and that can bring up the whole debate on the age of the earth or whatever, too.
Oh, yeah.
Or do the days correlate to,
literal days,
thousands of years, or does it do that? It's like, God lives outside of time, so soon to him is, it is soon. Like, it's instantaneous for him.
Well, a day is as of 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is of a day. Like, time, and that's the thing that we don't get about God, that he stands outside of time and space. He stands outside of that, and he sees the end from the beginning from the end. He sees all that in real time at that time, and we as humans, finite beings, cannot grasp that, cannot get our brains around that. So we try to start putting things in different orders that God never intended, because he's like, you're trying to do something that you can't even do yourself. So to me, I believe it was 7 literal days because of the Greek and how it's laid out. But again, some people are like, well, it's 1,000 years, this is this, this is that. At the end of the day,
It does not matter.
we were created by God. That's all that matters.
Right.
And
we're past that. It does
Yeah.
not matter at this point.
Yeah.
It is irrelevant.
yeah. So, but anyways, back to the hat of many colors. And I love what you said here is like all of us, especially being the busy brothers and well, busy friend now, we have so many different things we have to do. Like you could put so many different titles on you and me and every other person who has a young family or a business or this, that, and the third.
Mm-hmm.
We all have multiple things we have to do. And sometimes it's hard for people to take a cap off and put the other one on. And sometimes somebody never takes a cap off and they end up being X, where all these different scenarios are Y, Z, A, F, G, all the different areas. So we end up not giving our best to the areas that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for me, what it takes to switch that, to change from one role to the next, is just being cognitive of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one area that I've been working on, especially in the last few days, honestly, is if it's like 5:30, 6 o'clock at night and I'm with my family or I'm doing something, cooking or whatever, if I get a phone call from somebody and it's not an emergency and I just know, I have to choose family over them because I have my family hat on. I don't have my pastor hat on.
Mm-hmm.
But the other scenario is true. Say like a crisis does come up. Well, I got to take my family hat off quick and I got to put on pastor cap. Like that's just what it has to be. Same thing with like businesses. If I'm out enjoying or doing something or whatever, and I get a phone call like, "Hey, your tent's half fallen down."
Mm-hmm.
I can't just say, "Well, I'm in my family hat right now. I cannot come into."
I'm watching the game.
Yeah,
I'll be there in 2 hours.
Yeah, they don't take that too well. So we have to be cognitive of where we're at and switch to that position.
Right.
And don't just stay stuck in the I'm supposed to be this, so this is what I'm supposed to be at home, in the school, in the job. Like, no, you can be different things at different places. And I like to put it this way is your calling never changes. Your vocation always changes.
Right.
So I'm called to be a pastor. Now, will that be in a local church forever? Maybe not. Maybe someday I'll be pastoring itinerantly, going around pastoring like Jesus did.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll be pastoring pastors. Maybe I'll be pastoring my family.
Right.
So what I do, like in the calling in which I'm going towards that God has placed me in, will never change, but how I do it will change.
Right.
And I think a lot of times we can get caught up in once you're called to something, you have to stay in that for the rest of your life, not allowing the Holy Spirit to move you from side to side, left to right, under the same umbrella, but in a different place.
Right. I mean, there's I can name a couple people. I'm not going to call them out necessarily by name, but there's been people who it's trying not to find your identity in it.
Yes.
So like people who find their identity of it struggle letting go.
Mm-hmm.
Like you need to get, like God calls you to give that up. I can't give it up right away. And why not? Well, because that's who I am. No, you are not. You are a child of God.
Mm-hmm.
I'm calling you into here. Now, you might be really, really good at this,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not needed in this right now. Or your heart in this, you are talented physically. You are not talented in your heart posture right now.
Mm-hmm.
You need to step back. And maybe this is a way to like soften your heart a little bit to go with where God is leading the rest of the group, the team, the
Family,
job,
yeah.
family, whatever. Like step back a little bit, get your heart right.
Mm-hmm.
And then, sometimes you can do that in a sabbatical. Like you're overwhelmed. Sometimes it's like my identity, like you're pulling away from your family too much
Mm-hmm.
to go do the ministry, to go do the job. I need a vacation, a break, step back, realign my priorities. Family is first, no matter what. Your first ministry, your first job is at home.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always struggled with that personally. And it's not finding your identity in your work,
Mm-hmm.
finding your identity in your calling, which is a son of God, and then working down. Like I'm a son of God, so God is first.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm a husband. Then I am a father. Then am I a friend. And then I'm an acquaintance, I guess would be the lowest level of that. Because it's trying to be friendly. You don't have to be friends with everybody, but you can be friendly.
Yeah.
And you and I can attest to that. That I don't always put the friendliest face on.
Well, I don't think it's your heart posture. I think it's just your face needs fixed, and that's what I think it is. Sometimes you have to be like, Nate, smile. You're looking like you just sucked on a pickle for 3 hours. But no, I agree with that, because it's, again, it all comes back to I'm a son of God first. I'm a daughter of God first. And everything comes from that. So I'm not a great pastor unless I'm connected to the Father. I'm not a great husband unless I'm connected to the Father. I'm not a great husband, father, whatever I just said, if I'm not connected to the Father. So, and I've seen it time and time again. People put on the cap of work dad, and that's just who they are. That's like
they're a provider. That's all.
Yes, that's all they are. And I think, and I hate putting generational norms on it, but I feel like we're coming out of a generation where I make the money, you pay the bills, I relax at night so I can go again tomorrow to make the money to pay the bills. I think we're coming into more of like a collaboration mindset between in marriage and in family, that is like, we're going to do this together. Now, and again, but the other problem with it is we're in a society now where it's very normal for 2 incomes in a household. And that's just a very normal thing nowadays, that to survive and to grow. And I don't think it has to be that way.
No.
But I think if you want to keep up with the Joneses, you have to do it that way.
I think there's some propaganda behind that. Again, the mentality of keeping up with the Joneses, the the advertising that we see, which, we thought through streaming platforms we were going to get away from all the advertisements, but now it's gotten 10 times worse or 10 times more expensive to avoid them. But it's such a propaganda thing that you need to work, you need to get this, like this person is getting to do this, or why can't I do that? Well, part of it might be your mentality towards money in general, or that you think success is the number in your bank account, or the number of pictures and vacations that you're going on your Facebook platform. Like, success is, a fulfillment in God's calling. Yeah. That's how I feel. Like, success is not a number of followers. It's not a number in your bank account. It's not a number in general.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know where to go from that.
Yeah. But. No, because a lot of times we put on this hat to cover up what we have. And we try to cover up who we are by what we do. So if I go on vacation, I'm a great father. Well, not if you live like the devil and you live like an abuser Monday through Friday the rest of the time. Right. Like that, the vacations don't make you a good father. Date nights don't make you a good husband.
Right.
And it's not like, well, the biggest thing is like, you get into any type of coaching. Well, I've taken you on this trip and we've gone on date night every week since. Yeah, but where have you been whenever the socks were on the floor? Yeah. And she's been saying for 6 years, I do not like your socks on the floor. Please pick up your socks and put them in the hamper. But you try to take her on date night to fix that. You're trying to fix the hat of marriage based off of works, based off of dates, rather than getting to the root of it. How can I be a great husband to you? How can I be a great father to these kids? And trying to, I would almost say, take the hat and fit it to your head, fit it to the place where God has it to be, rather than wearing a one-size-fits-all, thinking it's going to fix everything when it doesn't. Right. And we try to throw all these solutions at it rather than getting before God, getting before our Father, and just saying, how do I become a better blank? Right. Because that's the only way you're going to get better at any of these hats, is just, again, submitting to God and understanding how this all works out. And I know for me, I've changed a lot of hats over the last 2-3 years. Like we shut down a painting contracting business that I started, 7 years ago. I think it's been, close to 7 years ago. We shut it down 3-4 years ago, and just different things have changed. Like I wanted to be in real estate, and I still do at some point, but I just don't feel like it's there yet. But if I push to try to say, well, I'm a real estate investor, I might get myself ahead of God by putting on a cap that I'm not ready to hold yet. Right. And the cap may fall out halfway through, and I'm down a couple $100,000, and that's not what God had for me. Right. But me thinking this is a hat I want to wear, this is what I want to do, will put me in harm's way. But if we just simply step back and say, God, what hat do you want me to have on in this moment? What do you want me to do in this moment? And yield to that, and heed to that, and be in His time, in His way. I can tell you, being in God's grace and God's time is so much better than trying to do it your own way. Yeah. because I tried in construction, I tried in painting, and it got me in a whole lot of debt and not a lot of progress. And I realized, God, this ain't what it was cracked up to be. And he goes, yeah, because I never told you to do it.
Yeah.
And sometimes we put just too much weight on a hat.
Yeah. I mean, speaking to like when you're in like you're in multiple locations. Like you said, you had the painting contracting, you had the tent rental, you've done a little bit of renting the camper that you have. Obviously you've been in ministry for a while. Now pay like recently in the last few years, paid for vocational ministry. But speak on like when you're in one of those roles and you get the call from something else, like you spoke on a little bit earlier, but like you get a call from, and it could be a call from your family. Yeah. Like, can you come and do this? Yeah. And you're kind of like, what do I do? Obviously family comes first, but like, how do you filter through the making something easy for somebody? Like someone calls for ministry purposes. They want to just talk because they're having a bad day, which we all need someone to talk to. Yeah. How do you filter that from, I'm in the middle of smashing stakes into the ground to put up a tent? Yeah. You know, work through that, like what you've dealt with. So I, as bad as it sounds, I mentally rank it in my head what's most important. And even in those times, say I'll be doing something in work, whether it be here, painting, whatever, and something happens at home, just because they're the first doesn't mean they always get first dibs. Sometimes and she knows this as well. Like when I was in painting contracting, if she would call me and say, this is going on, and it's something that I know that either she can handle or somebody else around her or something, or it can wait or something, I don't leave, because I'm like, this is something that is important to you. And I understand that, and I understand your emotion behind it, but it's not something that me leaving right now is going to fix. And it's actually going to cost us way more in the end because I won't get this project done on time. So I just run it through my mental checklist of like, okay, what is right now? And if I'm setting up a tent, somebody calls, and maybe and as bad as it sounds, is maybe the first time I ignore the call, and then they call again. Yeah, it's like, okay, so this is something a little more than I just need to chat. And I may answer that. And even in that answering doesn't mean I'm going to be on the phone for 3 hours. Right. Answering may be, hey, I know you're going through this. I'd love to talk to you. I know nothing can be resolved right at this very second. I'm in the middle of something. I will call you back X, when X. And that lets them know in that moment I'm switching the hat really quickly, but I know I'm going to get back into it. And I know, like, okay, they feel loved, they feel cared for. I'm still getting the tent set up, but I got to deposit some more time later from family time. And typically what I'll do is I try to schedule that type of stuff after kids go to bed, after I've had some time with my wife. And just be like, a lot of our meetings, whether it be marriage counseling, one-on-one coaching, phone calls, youth meetings, happen 8 or later at night. Because it's just, if you want me personally, you're going to come second to my family. Yeah. Kids are in bed. Kids are in bed. And I tell anybody who comes over, if you come over and we're doing any type of counseling, coaching, calling, whatever it may be, if my kids come downstairs, they're going to come downstairs. Like, I'm going to have to take care of that. Bridget's going to have to take care of it. Somebody's going to have to take care of that. And I just let people know right up front, like, this is what's happening. This is how it's going to have to happen. If you don't like that, then we can pick another time during business hours or early morning, whatever works. But at 4 to 8, I am almost unreachable when it comes to ministry stuff, because it's like I have 4 hours with my kids every day. If that includes making dinner, that includes running errands, that includes the sports, all the things. So I try to value that, but also try to be respectful of people. Like I have had it before where it's like, hey, I can't talk right now. I will call you later. And then it's just for me to put it in the calendar, put it in the time, like I got to make that call. And another thing is not wearing yourself out when other people aren't wearing themselves out. So, and again, this sounds, I'm going to say it 1,000 times, but it is what it is. Like, if somebody's not willing to take the steps that either I'm giving them, the Holy Spirit speaking to them, they're not willing to move or do anything,
then your time with me just came shorter and shorter and shorter. Because I can't keep talking to a wall and expecting good results.
Right.
If you want to have my time, if you want to have my wisdom, my whatever you're coming to me for, if you want spiritual guidance, I'll give you that. But if you don't take any steps with what I've given you, the less and less you're going to get from me, because you are not responsible, and I'm not going to cast my pearls before swine.
Right.
That doesn't mean that I'm not going to ever set up a meeting with you. That doesn't mean I'm not going to take time with you. That doesn't mean I'm not going to pray for you. I will pray for you till Jesus comes back. But also, I value everybody else and my family to know that I can't just keep meeting with spinning my tires in the mud and not going anywhere.
Right.
So a lot of that just has to do with just thinking through it and understanding, okay, this is going to take 5 minutes, this is going to take 5 hours, and just planning that out. How about you? How do you kind of prioritize that in your brain?
Mine, I should speak it out more. So, my wife and others are kind of aware of where I'm at priority wise for that moment, for that day. Mine are so ebb and flow because I don't have that 9 to 5 anymore or whatever. I mean, I was working 10:30 to 7 in the morning or till 3 p.m. doubles, but like I don't have that anymore. So my issue is my schedule is so wide open that it definitely appears open to a lot of people. So it's like, oh, we can fit this in here. And even for me, I'm like, oh, I'll just fit it in here. I'll just fit it in here.
Yeah.
And then I don't give myself any overhead time for anything. Like I schedule out things and I don't understand how long it's actually going to take. And I don't know. I try to schedule things as best as possible. Like give this window, like I am done at this point, no matter what, especially if it's like a physical project I'm working on myself. My wife and I sat down, and for bigger projects that are going to take multiple days, like, all right, we have a deadline that we want this aspect of it done by this date. And I have been sticking to it a little bit more often than not lately, but for a while it was bad. I mean, I haven't been at the prison now for over 2 years, or for about 2 years now. And it took that first year of spinning my wheels, not moving anywhere, because like I either wouldn't act when I should be, or I was putting too much in the same spot. So I was never getting any of them done, that, distracted attention, so to speak. But my wife is big on, and I've come to agree with it, like a calendar where we know where everyone's at to try to organize things is a helpful tool. And we've done this before, even just as a practice, is write down the things that you want to do for the day. It'll take you half as long to do them for whatever reason. I mentally know that I need to have 6 things that I want to get done for the day. It'll take me until 4:00 at night to get them done. If I write them down and I am intent on looking at that list and checking them off and focus, that's what it is. It's focus. I'm focusing on this right now.
Yeah.
Then I'll get it done. I struggle when I'm in the middle of something and I get distracted. That's where my ugly face comes out all the time that we talk about. And it's like, so I'm dead focused. I've never been one to say that I'm a great multitasker. When I get distracted, I'm done. Like if I'm editing a video and someone's talking to me, I'm like, will do the slow eye roll. I'll do this. I'm like, what? What?
Yeah.
And like, oh, am I bothering you? No, go ahead. and instead of having a kind way of like, now's not a good time.
Yeah.
Let me talk to you in a little bit. It's always just like, you're interrupting me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I've been trying to work on that a little bit more too, to, put my kind face on, because it's like, I don't mean to be mean. It's like, I've taken it as an insult in the, past hurt, trauma, whatever, of like, you're interrupting me, as opposed to you need me.
Yeah.
Type thing. And I deal with that on Sundays. Even sometimes I'll be doing my things and someone will come up like, oh, can you fix this? And like, you and I have dealt with certain areas before where it's like, well, did you test it out? Well, no. Okay. Yeah. Start there. I even Mia got me a shirt. My daughter got me a shirt that says, before you bother me. I almost wore it today. Before you bother me. Is it powered on?
Yeah.
Is it plugged in? No, seriously, go check.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where, because for you, and I'll say this, you are extremely productive when you're in one area. Like that's just who you are.
I think most everyone is. If
Yeah.
you have a focus,
Well,
you can be as productive as possible.
I mean, productive is subjective. Okay. So I've
Yeah.
been, my thing is I've realized more and more that I have a little more scatterbrain than I thought I ever did, especially when I'm trying to do like morning chores. Like I usually have a rhythm. Like when I was in painting contracting, I had a rhythm. I know exactly, and I followed that rhythm. Well, I didn't realize that that rhythm was ingrained in me from literally 12 or 13 years old. So it's like I know nowhere else to paint other than the way that I paint. But now that it's like I'm starting new things, it's like, okay, so I gotta streamline everything. But even like in the morning chores, like the amount of times I've turned water on to like water the chickens, put water to the chickens, and walk away to do something else. And next thing I know, I call Bridget 2 hours later. Can you go turn the water off? Because it's been running for 2 hours. I hate to say how many times that's happened, but it's because I'm trying to wear the 3 different hats in one moment rather than just having that focus. It's the same thing as this. Like floodlights are helpful. They help to see a broad area, not very far. But if you want to cut steel, if you want to cut whatever, you have to focus that light so intently that it becomes quote unquote laser focused. Yeah. And it can penetrate like 1/2-inch steel with just light. So if we as men of God, as we as busy people can just focus in that moment and not allow ourselves to get off task, we're going to be so much more productive. Now, the other thing that may come is you're in one scenario, like for you, when you're at home, you have the homesteading, you do a lot of editing and stuff for this. You're still helping with the kids a whole bunch. You're homeschooling them. Like you have to change hats instantly. And it's like we almost have to be laser focused 4 different times in an hour span. And that's increased exponentially on a Sunday morning. Like for me on a Sunday morning, I'm still dad, still husband, but then I have 5 different ministries that point to me. And then I have pastor and like, so we're in the same way we're similar.
And then youth afterwards.
So it's like having to constantly, like this past Sunday, I got the opportunity to preach and I preached and when was it? I preached and between the 2 services, I had somebody coming up to me asking about like dating and marriage advice. And then it's like, I switched conversations and now I'm talking about like vision and like what God is doing and the miracles that God's performing. And then the next one is like, did my props get set back up? How do I have to go back and check my props? And then the next minute is the printer's not working because apparently a children's ministry label printer can never work effectively every Sunday morning for a month straight. Or pro presenter in the youth in the Next Gen auditorium is going down. I was like, okay. So it's like that. You have to be laser focused, but you have to be laser focused and be able to switch on and off, on and off, on and off, on and off. And that is extremely tiring. Like I leave here on a Sunday and I want to just cry and go to sleep. Not because I'm like sad. I'm just like, I am that worn out. And some people are like, well, all you do is talk. Yeah, that's all I do. And it's like, it's the mental load that comes on a Sunday morning. When I leave here around 2:00, I want to go home and I'm praying to God my kids are still sleeping so I can sit on the couch and put my head back. Because that mental switching is sometimes more painful, more exerting than physical labor.
Right.
Because I've worked 12-hour shifts and felt okay after, like in physical labor. But when I'm here for the 6 to 8 hours I'm here, whatever that equates to, I'm twice as tired.
Yeah. And some of the stuff that you're doing, if you want to think of it this way, some of those locations, like setting up the tent, setting up, doing painting contracting, you were by yourself.
Yeah.
You had yourself, and I to deal with. There weren't to have to deal with a bunch of different personalities throughout the day. Like, I mean, just in the leadership, because I'm in the know, the leadership here, there are different personalities. You know, Pastor Derik just had us taking, I don't know how many different personality tests and all this different thing to try to figure each other out. And, you know, trying not to get labeled that. I mean, it's a great little tool to use, but like, I'm not a 1.
Yeah.
I have 1 traits. I am not an Enneagram. I'm Nate.
Yeah. Hi, Nate.
I'm Nate. So it's like not being caught in that. It's a useful tool because they are great tools to use. But all they are is taking generalities and putting them together. And they do work.
Yeah.
It's not to say it doesn't work, but like there's 15 different ways to do a math problem.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you can get there one way or the other.
Yeah.
Some people are really great observers, and they can like really fine tune just by looking at someone how to change the verbiage, how to change their attitude towards them. Some people can understand sarcasm. Some people cannot understand sarcasm.
Not at all.
Not that sarcasm
those
should be
are
a
not
main
friends.
tool either.
Yeah.
I mean, sarcasm is essentially truth that's mean.
Yeah.
Essentially. is what it is. Well, Craig Rochelle says that when he goes into a church for that, if there's sarcasm, he tells them the first thing you need to do is cut that out.
Yeah.
Is, you're here for a purpose. Sarcasm is pointing to a problem without coming up with a solution.
Yeah.
So like if you're being sarcastic, you're bringing up someone's fault, but you're not trying to fix it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're identifying them with that.
Yeah. And I mean, even to give a little perspective, if anybody doesn't know who's listening to this, like we have in just our leadership, we have teenager, we have single mom with a teenager, we have an empty nester, we have two stay-at-home mom-ishes, we have 2 young fathers. I'm trying to think through it. We have another one that's an empty nester but has a child living with them. Like all like different ages, different, definitely different genders, and all like a conglomerate of people that we have come
different
together.
abilities, mentally, physically,
Exactly.
like huge range in ages.
Yeah.
Like it's spanned
From 70 down to 18.
Mhm.
Yeah. 70 to 18 is our range, male, female, and every different vocation and outside of church. And just, but I will say this, when we come under the hat of Jesus Christ, all that, it doesn't go away, but it brings a unity. And I would say this for our leadership team, we have become so unified because we're so laser focused on Jesus being glorified, Jesus being magnified,
Right.
that it makes it so that way. I don't care if the 70-year-old talks to the 18-year-old, they both have the same, like, we're here for Jesus, not for personal gain. And that helps everything. That helps all of this get a whole lot easier, because whenever I come to you or I go to Vi or I go to Bridget or whoever, we know I'm not pointing a finger. I'm pointing it up and say, let's do it best for him.
Right.
And so whenever this area is lacking, be like, hey, that needs to be adjusted and fixed. And it's not a personal attack.
Right.
It's simply we're trying to do the best we can for Jesus' sake. And that's in a church setting. Well, how does that work everywhere else? It should be the same. Like we should, in everything that we do, we should be giving God praise. We should be pointing it back to Him. And it says in the Bible, and everything that you do it as unto the Lord. And doesn't matter if you're father, doesn't matter if you're wife, doesn't matter if you're husband. It doesn't matter. All these different hats that you put on, going back to where we started, it has to come from a place where I know who I am. And who I am is a son of God, a daughter of God.
Right.
And that informs the rest of my decisions. So like Enneagram, you test in the one category. Let's put it that way. But what that does is you're designed by God with those traits to glorify Him.
Right.
It's not a negative. It's not a this is who I am. This is what God created me to be like so I can best do what He's called me to do.
It's not an excuse.
No.
I'm a 1, so I can't do that.
No. Yeah.
No.
Good night. No.
You're not a 1. You're a son and child, or a child of God.
Yeah.
So therefore, you need to act. You are best in this area, but it doesn't mean that that's the only area that you can be helpful in. You keep moving, and you can be used best here, but it doesn't mean you can't be stretched and you can work on some things. I mean, people are administrators. Some people are visionaries. I will say this about the church leadership here. We have a lot of visionaries.
Yeah, buddy. Listen,
A lot.
Listen, if it ain't going to be seen, it ain't going to be going.
Right.
But I'll say this, though. It's not an excuse. And I'll put it that, what was I want to say? Oh, I had such,
And I interrupt you.
no. It was a thought that you said, and it sparked a thought in me, but I got it. It may be our tendencies, but it is not our character.
Right.
Your character, I don't care if you're Enneagram 1 through 9. I don't care if you're Strength Finder. I don't care your love language. I don't care any of those personality things that you push out. None of that is dependent upon your character.
Right.
And everything that, all these hats, you need to have a character, a strong character in order to be great. Like you need to be humble. Like that's one of the biggest traits that it says throughout the entire scriptures, be humble, be humble, be humble, be humble. And humility is not thinking of yourself less. It's thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less.
Right.
I'm here to help others. I'm here to serve others. I'm here to show Jesus. I'm here to be the servant of all. I mean, Christ did not come to be served, but to serve all. And humility is a core characteristic that we as believers, we as busy people, need to have deep in our heart, because you can be a 1, you can be a 7, you can be a 4. Holla at your boy. And you can have those tendencies, but if you're meaner than a snake, it does no good. Like if you're a 9, which is, again, I don't know why we're going Enneagram, but if you, because that's my wife is, if you're a peacekeeper, like you like to keep the peace, but you're mean as a snake, that doesn't mean that you're good at keeping the peace. It means that you're good at keeping the peace for yourself. Whereas a refined 9 will be, and one who's spirit-led, one who walks with Jesus, one who has the character of humility, will bring peace in a way that helps everybody understand, helps everybody grow, and gets to the truth. Whereas a mean 9 or a worldly 9 will just say, well, I'm going to just forget all the facts and I'm just going to make myself feel peace. I'm going to make sure that person knows. I'm going to lie to this person to make sure that person feels good. I'm going to lie to that person so this person feels good. So just because it's your tendency doesn't mean it has to be exactly your character.
Right.
And I think, especially, and again, I'm not making generalities, but I will. In this day and age, our culture has diminished character to a point where if you want to be successful in life, if you want to have a great business, if you want to have a great marriage, if you want to have a great anything, simply be humble and kind. That doesn't mean you're passive. That doesn't mean you don't stand for truth. That doesn't mean that. But if you're humble and kind, you're going to have more people knocking on your door. You're going to have more people asking for your help. You're going to have more people wanting to walk with you and talk with you than if you're meaner than a snake every single day.
Right.
And I think in this culture, we see a lot of people get what they want in business, in whatever, because they're like, I'm going to get mine. No ifs, ands, or buts. Cutthroat. And yeah, you can get it that way. That's one way you can get it. But the Bible's very clear. The Lord maketh one rich and addeth no sorrow to it. Sorry, if I'm King James, it's the way I remembered it. But the Lord makes one rich and adds no sorrow to it, meaning we don't have to be, it all goes back to that character piece. Like when God does it with us having the right heart, things will happen a lot better for us. But we can't simply just say, oh, well, I'm this, so I can't do that. Well, I'm just, I work, I'll put it into your context. I'm a prison guard. That's just what I am.
Yeah.
I'm rough around the edges. Well, that doesn't mean you have to be rough around the edges at home.
Yeah, that's the excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dealt with that so much when it came to when I was there, and my wife, Dana, had to step to me and say, if you need to take a few minutes to decompress outside, do it before you come in, because we are not inmates.
I love that line. When you told me that line before, I'm like, valid?
Yeah.
Valid?
Yeah. We have done nothing wrong to you. We want your attention when you come in, and we want you for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And when you come in, have a heart ready to be there as dad, not as CO.
Yeah, and you want to know why? Just because that was your world doesn't mean that doesn't translate to my world. Because I've come home and my wife would be like, I am not your congregation. Stop preaching at me.
Yeah.
It's like, I didn't know I was preaching, but apparently I was preaching. We just have that tendency. And I'll put it this way for a lot of the stay-at-home moms. Your husband is not your child.
Right.
So don't keep that mom hat out when you're talking to your husband. Like, it's not effective. He does not like to be treated like a child. And you're smiling because we both, nothing to our wives. They're not, hopefully they don't.
There was something yesterday. I can't remember what the context was around, but I actually laughed about it afterwards. So I can't remember. I was going outside to do something. I can't remember what it was now. Go down to the garden or something. I can't remember doing something. And my wife had asked me a question about whether I had done something, like, yeah, or did that. She's like, oh, good job. But the way she said it was like talking to a kid. Oh, good boy. And I almost turned around and said, thanks, Mom. But I'm like, I'm going to leave it alone. I don't think she meant it that way. No. I completely misheard it. Because that's usually the context too, is like, I misheard what was said. And that's like, trying to relay important information through text message.
Oh, no.
You can't attribute tone in a text message.
No.
I'll give you an insight to Pastor Derik though. If there's less than 2 exclamation points, he mad. If there's a period, he's really mad.
He plumb mad. Okay, he ain't mad. Yeah, no, definitely. And I love that because it's like, I had a similar experience, and I literally just would look at her and be like, I am not your child. Do not, because we carry a tone, and if we have that hat on, we carry that tone with it. Like, and there's been times, what was it? I was tearing down the tent that we had for our kid's birthday party. And, tearing down the bounce house. And as I'm tearing down the bounce house, the cart starts moving. So I yell, Bridget, foot it. And then I was like, I was able to get my foot on it to foot it. I said, never mind. And I shove it up there. She goes, wow. I was like, first of all, wasn't yelling. Second of all, I was nervous. Third of all, I was just trying to get it up in the cart, and I did not want that because I was right on the edge of the hill. And I was like, if this thing turns, 300 pounds and me are going to go flying down this hill, and it's going to hurt all the way down.
Right.
And I was just like, I was scared. I was nervous. I wasn't yelling at you. I wanted it footed so that way I didn't die.
I was trying to get your attention.
Yes. And she's like, okay, whatever. I'm like, no, that's not what it was. Just want to make it very clear. But but here's the thing. Here's where the rubber meets the road. If that's the way we are every single day, you're going to tire out your spouse. You're going to tire out your kids. You're going to tire out your job. You're going to tire out everybody if you keep one hat on the entire time.
Yeah.
One of those dads.
No.
No. They're all working.
SD card full.
Oh.
It's cool. I wasn't even running it, but that's all right. No big deal.
Well, so the other one's still recording?
Like that one's not even recording. That's just, there's a memory card in the camera, but I don't record on that. I record on an external hard drive. So
well,
irrelevant. Moving on.
You'll edit it out later.
Or not.
Or leave it.
We'll
be like, okay, the SD card's full. I thought we were like, I was like, that was actually a decent cutoff point. But we do have to wrap it up. And we're going to have one more. We're going to do one more because I love talking to you. It's definitely easier to get my 2 cents in. I'll say that.
Read into that what you will.
Yeah, I mean, you could.
Either I'm easy or Derik is not.
Well, let's just say we've only had one other guest on this show. I wouldn't even consider you a guest, but so there's only been one person I've talked to for 20-ish, 25-ish episodes. So you read into what you want. But if you would, you do the outro. Tell them what to do, Nate. Tell them to enjoy what you do and the ways that you can say thank you, Nate, for all that you do.
Absolutely. So please click the like, share, follow button, whatever it is on whatever platform. We are on 3 main ones: Spotify, YouTube, and Apple.
Apple.
Yeah, Apple. I don't know all the details, but apparently Apple is going to start doing video casts, is going to start allowing that. I'll see how that's going to work into our workflow here. If it's going to be added work, it may or may not happen. But for the best content, go to YouTube. Subscribe. Be ready for it. We put out every other Tuesday morning with an episode. And I hope you enjoy the next one's coming out. Obviously, we record these well ahead of time, but Pastor Paul's one is going to come out, or already came out, so to speak. So, like that one.
Yeah, definitely share that one out. That man of God. Of God.
Yeah. Yeah, keep us
email us
on your radar.
Text us, call us if you have our number. If not, 802-444-0655. 802-444-0655. Just say Busy Brother questions and we'll answer it on the pod.
Yeah, absolutely. Emails, Pastor Shawn's. It'll be down below.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry.
He'll put it. He'll do all his magic on the end.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah.
All right.
See y'all.
Bye.
Deuce.
Wanna handle